probably my first ever like design and construct project. It was just for a lovely family couple at Erina. That was that dream customer. They came, they had a realistic budget. They sent me a Dropbox file of all these cool projects that they liked, and the house was actually pretty hard to work with. Like, it was an old house, everything was out of square plumb, a lot of handyman work along the way. In terms of the whole joinery scope and the space, they just gave me free run. They didn't even care about seeing drawings or finishes or anything. They just
That's proper trust,
and it couldn't have gone better. That was probably the first bigger scale job that I did, and it kind of, the big business piggybacked off that a little bit, and it also like lit a fire, and like it gave me a lot of confidence. I probably lacked a little bit of confidence before that job in people putting their whole project in my hands. I was like, oh, what if I design this and it looks hideous or it's unpractical, and can put that faith in myself that like I'll figure out a way to do whatever's in front of me.
Welcome to Behind the Design, a podcast where we unfold the details behind the designs we know and love and explore how each project comes to life. I am Camilla Ingle, owner of Unfolded, an interior design and styling studio. In this podcast series, we dive into the details with our industry experts, covering topics such as the creative process, latest design trends, and how we, as an industry, work together to meet the brief and overcome challenges. Let the conversation begin. Hugo, welcome.
So me.
Welcome to Behind the Design.
It's good to be here.
And so tell me a little bit about you.
So my name's Hugo Lane. I'm the owner and director of Huey Makes. We're a custom joinery business based here on the Central Coast. And yeah, we're joiners, cabinet makers, building unique spaces, kitchens, wardrobes, furniture, residential house fit outs, a bit of commercial here and there.
How long have you been in the industry?
So I've been, in the industry, a bit of time off, tried other things, but since 2012. So, once I left high school, went and did my trade.
Straight in?
Yeah, straight in. And yeah, so, 12 years now. And we've had Huey Makes since 2019, 2020, we kind of kicked it off. And yeah, it's been full steam ahead since.
So far, so good?
Yeah. Plenty of headaches along the way, but yeah, as business is. But yeah, no, we love it. We love what we do and love what we've been able to create. So
Instagram's beautiful.
Yeah, we try. Emma helps big time on that. But yeah, our work, Instagram's easy for our work. Like it's
portfolio essentially, isn't it?
Yeah, but like we're making cool things every day, and taking a photo or a little video is. It's easy to do and post up, and people love looking at it. So yeah, we found that side of it has rolled pretty naturally. Yeah.
It is interesting how Instagram is such a marketing tool, isn't it, for our industry, showcasing all of our work and how we do things, not only behind the scenes, but the finished product as well. Yeah,
big time. And especially for design, everyone's on Instagram, and it is tailoring trends, and people are designing their houses and their joinery based off things they've seen off Instagram. So
do you find that's quite common, that people will say, hey, I saw this, can you recreate it? And how do you feel about that, recreating?
I love it. Yeah. I don't like recreating
an image.
Yeah, something exactly. Like I don't like doing anything twice. I like everything being, unique, and every job being different to some extent.
Yeah.
But I love people coming in with photos, whether it be Pinterest, Instagram, Google searches, whatever, and just giving me a concept and then letting us roll with it. So yeah, Instagram's awesome. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And so off the back of that, what is your creative process? How do you?
It definitely kicks off with getting a bit of an idea from the customer on what they're looking for and what type of style they like. It could be mid-century, it could be modern, Moroccan, it could be anything, and they just get a bit of a theme going, looking at the space, getting an idea for it, looking at some other finishes and designs, furniture, joinery in the house. And then from there, we jump on CAD. We're big on CAD drawings, and
Yeah.
that's like a blank canvas for us. You know, we'll draw up and start drafting up spaces, you know, coming up with shapes, you know, different details, different materials, and just seeing where we can roll. And you know, along the way, you also need to make sure, you know, things are done to a standard and to practical use for the space.
What
but
about budget?
yeah, so it's like definitely that's probably one of the first things that comes off. You know, that's the first thing I talk about with customers, because it's pretty easy, especially, you know, for someone like me to just get running
Carried away.
big time.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's stuff costs money, and you need to understand that like not everyone has an endless budget. So
That communication with clients is really important, isn't it? Sort of from the get-go.
it's the most important part.
Expectations.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
That can be the downfall on a project, like, you know, not just from me, like for a builder, for an architect, just design.
Elaborate on why is it a downfall? If
Like just designing something or giving false expectations on a project that isn't,
the outcome
it's not achievable. Yeah, which like it happens. You know, obviously you don't want to see it happen, but yeah, I'm pretty sure anyone you talk to would have some story of that happen to an extent, where you have all these crazy awesome ideas, but then it gets to the pointy end, especially for us joiners, like it gets to the pointy end of the project, and you know, money needs to be saved, and finishes need to be scrapped, and details need to be changed, and that's just the
it's our industry though as a whole, isn't it?
Done.
We're all having to meet not only budgets but the whole design process. We're all involved, from architect to interior designer to joiner to builder.
big time. Like you'd say just as much as us, like, you know, everyone's keen as mustard when they first start the project, but you know, as the banks will only lend you so much money. So
Yeah, and it is interesting, I think, you know, as an educational piece, what would you say, where would you fit into the process? So I definitely know that it goes, you know, the architectural plans, then we come in. What if the client did say, oh, I've got my own joiner and I want him to come on, and what if I've already done all the joinery? How do you manage that?
That's a hard question.
It's a not ideal scenario for you, isn't it?
It's not ideal. Like, I'm open to it. I reckon we should be engaged as soon as possible. We should work closely hand in hand with both the interior designer and the customer, because when it comes to interiors, like, it's good to have our input in everything, you know, like
and the technical side of things,
big
because there's
time.
a lot. I don't pretend to know what I don't know. You know, I'm good at what I'm good at, but you're brilliant at what you're brilliant at. So it's sort of like getting the specialists in where you need to.
Oh, big time. Like just seeing a space and you've got an idea, bouncing it off us, like, this integrated appliance might not work in this because we don't have the right depth of joinery. You know, we can't put a bulkhead there because we need 700. We can't do 600. Like, they're all things that sometimes if you haven't been building it, you don't know that. Like, the architect might not know that. You know, there's things about building that we don't know. That's why we like working closely with the builder and the architect to run ideas past them. Can we do this? You know, can we do that? It's it's a big thing. Like, that's why I feel like a real important thing is engaging a joiner early. Probably
Really good tip.
Yeah, big time. Like, get them in early, get them engaged, get their input, and they will also help out with budget along the way. And you know, if you come up with a design and you want 100 mil apron front stone on a vanity, you know, there's going to be a price to that, and we can say,
or a 40 mil mitered edge.
Yeah, exactly.
Suddenly it changes altogether.
Big time. Yeah, where we say, okay, no, well, what if we just change the vanity design slightly, and we can keep with a 20 mil slab, and
That's why it's so important for you and I to be having those conversations. You know, for us to both be confident and having that clarity in the design, to be able to have that conversation and articulate that with the client.
Yeah, exactly.
And then meet the budget.
And
then
budget.
pick the finishes.
Yeah, which, it sounds easy.
It does.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a process, though. I think the average person doesn't really understand.
Nah, it shouldn't. But that comes down to the, like, the customer needs to put a lot of faith in their team.
Trust.
Yeah.
Huge.
Big time. They can't, like, it's easier said than done, but they can't micromanage the whole project.
Yeah.
You know, you need to put faith in your architect, who needs to put faith in the builder, who needs to put faith in the interior designer, who needs to put faith in the joiner. Like, it's
Our relationship is so important.
yeah, for sure. And the second there's a bit of a disconnect, that's when you can, you can feel it. You can feel their project where there's a disconnect, whether it be from the builder to the customer, or the builder to the architect, the interior design to the joiner. If there's a disconnect in the chain, it really hurts the process. Yeah.
And so with your creative process, so say you've been given some architectural plans and world's your oyster with the joinery.
Yeah.
Where do you start? What motivates you? What inspires you?
Well, yeah, circling back to what was said before, like, I love challenging projects. I love making something once, like a unique space. I struggle to make something twice.
Yeah.
I just, everything, like,
Is that more work for you?
100% it is. Yeah, it's not a good business model. No, it's not a good business model at all. But it's just what I love. Like, I love, the thought of creating a room for the first time and someone walking in and saying, well, I've never seen anything like this before. That's what, gets us out of bed in the morning. It's what, what gets my whole team out of bed in the morning. It's not just me like that. It's my whole team. That's why, we've kind of gravitated towards each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And clients, do you find that clients do give you that free rein then? Just in terms of that,
The dream client.
about that micromanaging, the dream client.
The
exactly.
dream client.
With those big budgets.
Yeah, like, yeah, having a big budget helps for sure, because it kind of lets you just roll and whatever the job comes in at, and they do come around. They do for sure. I've had a couple of them over the year, and like, it's just been awesome. I end up being, best friends with them, like, because we roll and we're bouncing ideas. I'm probably more excited than they are about the build, like,
So you do really bounce it with them. You'll sit down.
Big time.
Yeah. Do you do any sketching and things like that?
Yeah, like, obviously, like I said, we're big on CAD. Like, we use a drafting software called Python that is really, like, it's a detail.
It's so detailed, yeah.
Yeah.
And the render and everything that you
exactly
can achieve from that, yeah.
And like, so that's kind of our go-to now. Like, I can knock up a model on that pretty quickly. That gives like a good concept of the space. That's probably my biggest thing, is just constantly sending little drawings, and we've got a CAD team who work really hard to break everything down and break details, and to the point now, we'll draw up a detail of like a project to help another trade out. So like,
yeah, interesting.
That's like, we're not architects, I'm just saying, like, but if it's going to help our joinery, we will go to that extra step,
that level of detail.
But yeah,
the more you do, the better, right? You kind of they say less is more, but it's more for you to go, okay, I've given you absolutely everything you need for you to now execute this design.
100%, because we're one of the last trades to come in, so we need it. The smoother the job runs, the smoother our job runs, and we get out of there, with less callbacks, and we can move on to the next job. And also we can just keep a good relationship with the customer and, get work from them again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we kind of we do more than we have to sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, circling back to, bouncing ideas off the customer, that's kind of what, we constantly design, and we love when we get a design scope as well. Like, they just say, this is the space, figure it out, and we're just
a little bit of design direction.
Big time.
Yeah.
Sometimes we stuff it up. Like, we will design something that's just not what they wanted, and we will start from scratch again. But we love it. Like, my wife could vouch for that. Like, I'm sitting on the computer most nights drawing up spaces, trying to figure it out, and I can spend 20 hours on a design and then look at it and just go, that shit house, like, and just delete it. And I'm just like, but
you don't know until you do it,
and it doesn't faze me.
It
doesn't. I'm just like,
you're creating nonetheless.
I'm creating. I'm loving it. It's like someone painting a picture. That's joinery to us.
So Emma, your partner,
Yep.
your wife. Do you work together in the business, or how do you?
We do. She helps out a lot on the back end. She works full time.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of juggling, but yeah, definitely couldn't do it without her, that's for sure.
So have you always seen yourself as owning and running your own business?
To an extent, yeah, definitely not what it is now or what it's becoming. But I definitely have always, saw myself working for myself. Probably didn't see myself having employees.
Yeah.
Probably want to run it on a smaller scale. But yeah, it's just been the natural, exactly, organic progression of the business and what we require. Like, we require staff, we require factory spaces and machinery and overheads to do what we love doing. So yeah, it's just built.
So you have all of that?
Yeah. So yeah, our factories are up in Tuggerah.
Mm-hmm.
We have a couple of factories next to each other, small footprints, but we've got a machine shop with a flatbed CNC, edge banding, panel saws, some woodworking machinery, assembly shop, and we're currently in the process of setting up a spray shop with some spray booths and to start experimenting with some timber finishing. So that's something to look forward to for sure.
And that's a huge advantage for someone like myself to engage with you, for my clients, and or for the client to come straight to you because you've got it all there.
We want to be a one
more efficient.
Yeah, one-stop shop for sure. Wow. Yeah,
big project.
Big, yeah,
exciting
big time.
Though.
Oh yeah, and it's where I feel, especially like in bespoke joinery, you can unlock a whole new level with experimenting with finishes. Colouring veneer, wire brushing, timber, staining, lacquering, polyurethanes, like oil finishes. That's something that we
so much to it, isn't there?
Yeah, and we haven't been able to get do that to what we want to do yet. So that's the next step in our business for sure.
Just when you thought it was just going to be you.
Yeah, exactly.
Look what it's grown to.
Oh no, yeah, it's out of control.
But I do love hearing all of this because it's something that I definitely know what you can offer. But until I can be confident in saying, okay, for this particular project with my clients, we need a really good joiner because the level of joinery that you're needing is someone that I need to really engage with, a joiner who's going to be able to meet this custom standard of what they're after. And not only that, but engaging with someone like yourself, knowing that you're across all of those different finishes, you love the custom design work.
Yeah.
I can nearly say, meet with my joiner.
Yeah.
Sit down with Hugo. Have that conversation.
Bounce some ideas.
Here are the plans and come back to me with, what you guys do.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
It's like, again, that collaboration between designer and joiner.
Yeah.
Me trusting that I can really partially hand that over to you.
Yeah.
And knowing that you, one, look after them, but two, produce a beautiful outcome.
Yeah, big time. And we're an open book. We've got an open book policy with the business. Like
Elaborate on that.
It's my biggest downfall is I don't say no to anything. Like,
Yes,
big time. Like ideas come in. The other day I had someone asking me for a job that we're doing to put a curved front like on integrated dishwashers. You take that into another joiner, they'll just say not a chance. Like, and then I go home and think about it for 4 or 5 hours and then the next day come back and
2 hours sleep.
Yeah, I'm just like, I figured out how we can do it. And, it's, and it's good to come in and talk to us about stuff because like we will not
have that conversation.
Yeah, and we will never shoot down a dream or an idea of a detail. We'll say like if there is a way to do it, we'll figure it out. And there's been some stuff that we just simply can't do.
Unfortunately, cannot achieve this.
Achieve it, and it's because of another detail to that kitchen or something that's out of our control.
Is it ever down to, from your experience? There's a lot that I know in answer to this, but I'd love to hear from you. What if the substrate, which is the canvas, the foundation of the property, what if that isn't fit for what the client might want to do?
In terms of that? what
could be
weight?
A concrete slab.
Yeah.
And that's obviously the weight of anything can be on a concrete slab. But what if it is barrows and joists, floating timber? on top,
Yeah.
and they want to build certain things.
Some big stone bench top that can't bear the weight.
The weight.
Yeah, well, that comes down to why it's so important to have a builder. We are limited to what we can do with spaces and projects because of insurances and liabilities. So, yeah, that's when it becomes important to have an architect, to engage an engineer, to engage a builder, to put in
structural.
Yeah, 100%. You know,
yeah.
they might need to put in some steel beams.
Yeah.
That's out of our control, but you know, we try to point people in the right direction, for sure.
So would you prefer then to be engaged at the architectural plans drawing phase?
Yeah, like it depends. Like, you know, sometimes we can get in, you know, there is a fine line of being in the project too early, and then, you know, you just
wait years for it to be built.
Yeah, 100%. Because, like, you know, we're not like a builder who might, you know, like a big architectural builder might only do 1 or 2 jobs a year. You know, we're doing 40 plus jobs a year because we work on a smaller scale in terms of revenue per project. So we can't be constantly there for meetings and throughout the process. So, like,
It's big consultant meetings where everybody's involved.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. For you, is it?
Yeah, like it's hard to spend that much time on a project that you're not actually engaging in joinery for maybe another, sometimes 18 months. So there's definitely a fine line of being there too early, and you should probably, you know, let the architect and the builder and the customer figure things out, and you know, get it dialed in. Yeah. And then
get the designers to do the drawings, start to pull that together, and then
and you know, unfortunately, like if there is a detail that they want to do, that, you know, if they've got a suspended slab floor and they want to run LED lighting somewhere and it can't be done because they've already polished concrete floors. Yeah. You know,
electricals.
Yeah, like that, you know, that might be the only downfall to that side of it, like not being engaged early, but, you know, we'll figure out another detail that, you know, works even better. So whatever we're handed, we work with.
Yeah. Do you have a favourite project to date?
Oh, it's hard to say favourite project. My favourite project's whatever I'm working on at the time. Definitely have projects that stand out. Like, you know, probably my first ever like design and construct project. It was just for a lovely family couple at Erina. That was that dream customer. They came, they had a realistic budget. They sent me a Dropbox file of just, you know, all these cool projects that they liked, and the house was actually pretty hard to work with. Like, it was, you know, an old house. Everything was out of square plumb, a lot of handyman work along the way. But
they keep the foundation of it?
They did, but, you know, it was like came in, ripped up the floors. I actually looked at a few things and thought, okay, well, maybe we can move this post, we can slim this down, do that. I engaged a builder to come in. He helped out, you know, got the electricians, everything in. But in terms of the whole joinery scope in the space, they just gave me free run. They honestly, they didn't even care about seeing drawings or finishes or anything. They just put
proper trust,
and it couldn't have gone better. Like, it just, you know, it just went.
So I love hearing this, music to my ears, when they just trust you.
Oh,
because you're good at what you do.
Yeah,
you know?
And like, you know, we're friends. We're still friends now, and it kind of that was probably the first bigger scale job that I did, and it kind of, the big business piggybacked off that a little bit. You know, at that time, like, it was just me working the business. You know, I'd have a subcontractor come and help me at the time. But yeah, from there, it just kind of led to a few, you know, good contacts, obviously a good portfolio, a few nice pictures for Instagram. And got us started. And from there, and it also like lit a fire, and like, it gave me a lot of confidence. I probably lacked a little bit of confidence before that job in people, like in people putting their whole project in my hands. I was like, oh, what if I, you know, design this and it looks hideous or it's unpractical? And it kind of, really just, it and from there it was just, I was thirsty to like just keep, doing new projects, more difficult projects, like
It gave
trickier
you like
details.
the confidence to attempt those challenges moving forward.
100%. Like, I can put that that faith in myself that like I'll figure out a way
Got
to
this.
do whatever's in front of me.
Yeah.
So that's probably the one that stands out when you ask about favorite projects.
Universe, they say the universe will only give you what you're ready for.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
Yeah.
You didn't know you were ready until you were.
Yeah, and there was times where I felt like, probably bitten off more than I could chew on some jobs, but it's just all part of the learning process.
It was interesting. I went through a similar thing in 2019 as well. I'd never been let go from a job in my life, and I was working for a flooring company and it just didn't work out. It was that first 6 month probationary period. November that year, I just thought, I'm just going to dive in, opened, unfolded, and have been going since. But it wasn't actually the plan, but all these projects just sort of fell into my lap. And that's that whole it's meant to be, you just kind of go, okay, well, I guess this is all just fallen into my lap or into place. Maybe I'll just roll with it.
Yeah.
Trust and have confidence that I'm good at what I do, and kind of day by day.
Oh, yeah, you're figuring it out
evolve.
as you go. Yeah, wherever the cards lie,
Yeah.
So.
And so with that particular project then, I'm curious, was it very much in the way of, hey, from the client's perspective, was it very much, we've got a lot of functional needs, can you just make them look pretty? Or what was that trust factor? Was it, we just want it to be beautiful, we don't care too much how it practically helps us?
The practical side of it really was super easy because the space was so big. Like I had such a big space. Like it's more tricky for joinery when you're working in confined spaces and you've got limited storage and you need to figure out every single millimeter of that space has to have a purpose.
Space design.
Yeah, big time. And
compact.
Because this was so big, it was such a big kitchen, butler's pantry, walk-in robes. Like it was just, it all just kind of like, it was better than what was there. Like they loved all the new additional storage. So it probably more fell into the aesthetic side of it, where they just wanted like beautiful finishes and details. And, I had panels rebated, like plywood panels rebated into other panels and, solid Tasmanian blackwood timber, like mid-century design, slide-in timber slat doors. Like they just loved.
Wow.
They loved that.
They obviously could appreciate that design too.
Couldn't
Makes such a difference for us, doesn't it?
Oh, it makes such a difference when you have appreciative customers.
Yeah.
Like the whole way they're just like adoring the joinery, and it just like, you couldn't get me.
Good feeling.
Oh, it was the best. So like when
feeling.
I'm working in the workshop at 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, gluing up timber panels, I've got a smile on my face because like, you're doing it for someone who appreciates what you're doing.
Yeah.
Where you could be making all the money in the world, but if there's a sense of being unappreciated for what you're doing, it's very hard to keep going.
It changes your whole approach, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it just your whole mindset. When you
How hard you want to work on it, because if it's not, you don't feel appreciated.
Yeah.
Then you don't put in those extra.
Yeah.
I might stay up till 2 a.m. instead of just finishing this at 10 p.m.
Yeah. I could be working on a job that I've severely underquoted, but I know that what I'm putting in that house is that like it's appreciated and it changes. Like it doesn't faze me.
Can't put a dollar amount on it really.
To the point I'm paying for materials that that weren't accounted for, and I'm just like, I don't care. I'm just making something, for good people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we like doing good work for good people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in saying everything that you said to now, is there a message that you'd say to your younger self, younger Hugo?
Yeah, probably work in different parts of the industry, get as much experience as you can, because like joinery is so broad. There's so many different avenues you can take. You can work in, where I did my apprenticeship, we were just doing generic kitchens and house residential joinery. There was no solid timber, there was no curves, there was no, of these crazy details you see today. So like spend time. Go do some commercial joinery. Go do hospitality fit outs. Dabble, yeah. You get as much experience as you can and learn from as many people as you can. That would be my biggest thing that, if I could go back in time and tell myself, I probably rushed into just having to figure it all out by myself a little bit, which is, it's good now.
Very independent approach.
Yeah.
I think if you're an independent person, I tend to follow suit with that as well. We think that we've just got to do it all.
Yeah, 100%.
Rather than, asking for help and
or we need to be the best at something straight away.
That's it.
Yeah,
110% straight up. Yeah.
It's like take take the back seat and like learn from someone who's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah. And a bit more.
Yeah. Everyone does stuff different in my industry. So, just because someone does something one way doesn't mean there's a better way to do it. Better way not to do it.
Yeah.
So, that'd be the biggest thing for sure.
Yeah. So a couple of tips for potential clients. What would you share?
Definitely what we were saying before, engage early. Maybe not too early, but definitely engage early. Don't get the project up to lock up and then try to start planning the interior fit out.
Yeah.
But then put trust and faith in your team. Put trust in your architect, put trust in your builder, your interior designer, your joiner. That's probably the biggest thing, and enjoy the process of whether it be, a kitchen renovation or a brand new build. Enjoy the process. Yeah.
And if you were to give any advice for, younger women or men entering the industry, is there anything that comes to mind?
Definitely what I said before, experience different avenues of joinery, figure out what you want to do, figure out if you enjoy, just building white boxes in a more of a cookie cutter system. There's nothing wrong with that. You might just like doing the same thing every day and, being very good at your job, or you might like doing what we do where we just constantly build in different unique projects. That's figure out what you want to do. Don't do something that you don't want to be a part of. Yeah.
So before we jump into the final question, how can people find you?
So Instagram, as we discussed
handle
before, Huey Makes joinery. So we're always posting up current projects on that, so it's good to keep up to date. Our website tells you a little bit of us, about us, and our history and current and past projects. And my email, phone number, they're both up there, so try to get back to everyone. So but the main thing would be, we've got an open door policy at our factory. We love people dropping by, seeing stuff that's on the floor or that's getting designed. Yeah, we got nothing to hide. We love people coming and just,
get that visual. What you do and what you deliver on.
100%, yeah. If it's a customer, if it's not a customer, just someone interested in joinery, we like people dropping by and seeing what we're doing.
All right, so a bit of a fun one to wrap up. What is a fun fact about you that would surprise people?
Probably that, I took some time out of the industry and I went and I moved to central New South Wales, a country town called Mudgee.
Mudgee?
Yeah, Mudgee, beautiful town.
Beautiful town.
And I owned a gym out there. I was in the health and fitness industry for a couple of years.
Okay.
Just,
How did you manage that? So you started in the trade and then you...
Finished my, starting trade, finished my apprenticeship, jumped around, did a bit of carpentry and stuff in the Blue Mountains, like where I grew up. And then just decided, this wasn't for me. Probably coming from, because I hadn't experienced different options in joinery.
Yeah.
And so just moved out there, lived on a farm and owned and operated a gym for a couple of years. And then, just decided that wasn't for me either and moved down here, met my wife Emma and we moved to Copacabana and the rest is history. Yeah.
Thank you for coming on.
No, thank you for having me. It's been good.